Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. The fact that everybody, the leftists, are still looking for a way to black people or to drag black people into this is just something that it's kind of crazy. But yeah, some people's mentality. I mean, you see them look so handsome, but sincerely speaking, they've got coconut head. There is nothing in their head. You know, once you open a coconut, the way it looks, that's how their brain is. And eventually they will look for people that look like them or people that sound like them to, like, tangle with. But I leave it for another time. Now you all can see what it's going on and how are they still going to drag Kamala Harris into this present administration. You all are seeing how this government is trying to level Gaza, right? And they are saying that Kamala Harris already did that before this man started. Did I hear Kamala Harris? Why are you people calling this woman's name when you all knew that there was a president, the past president, the last president? Who was that? And now the way these people call Kamala Harris' name and black people's name, I do not even see them calling JD Vance's name this way. That is to tell you how anti-black majority of these people, or especially all this light skin, I don't know where they are from, leftists, and then the white one too. I do not get it, but then it is what it is. Well, you know what? I want you all to channel your energy to something better, not to people that look like me. Let's get into this video.
I'm not mad that Donald Trump is president because without him in office, a lot of people would be unwilling to address or even acknowledge the forms and systems of oppression that are present in America. Historically, criticism of the Republican Party has always been greater than criticism of the Democratic Party, even if they're doing the exact same thing. Like Vice President JD Vance met with the Pope, who then went on to die, and y'all could draw that connection. But then Vice President Kamala Harris met with an actual war criminal who was perpetrating a fucking genocide to the tune of billions of American dollars, and y'all could not see the connection. When Joe Biden facilitates a genocide, everybody says he's trying his best to end it. When Donald Trump facilitates a genocide, everybody will say that he is the cause of it, even though the policies being used to perpetuate said genocide have been consistent for the last 2 years. But at least now you can admit that the President of the United States has a direct connection to the sovereignty and safety of Palestinian people. And y'all can't even lie about that, because you're bragging that Trump is leveling Gaza, even though Gaza has already been leveled. Liberals will brag about Palestinians being arrested and jailed for protesting a fucking genocide, claiming that because Donald Trump won, it's their fault and so they deserve it. Meanwhile, pro-Palestinian activists have been sitting in prison for decades for simply protesting the genocide, for simply feeding starving people in Gaza. Even in regards to the ICE raids, they did not start with Donald Trump. Joe Biden had some of the highest rates of deportations in recent history, but nobody talked about it. And then Donald Trump starts to do it, and now magically everyone has an issue with it. People will get mad about the tariffs that Donald Trump is imposing because of the rise in prices, but prices have been steadily rising for the last 50 years. Because capitalism is a system that needs infinite growth, which means it needs infinite exploitation, because the only way we know how to grow in this country is through exploiting labor out of people. Because we've been exploiting labor out of people since the birth of this nation. Donald Trump is nothing new. Donald Trump is unmasked America. All the atrocities that we're seeing have been happening for decades. And now that people are waking up to it, maybe we can do something to actually change it. Now maybe we'll understand that establishment politicians are not here to save us. Gavin Newsom running around saying that the Democrats lost the election because they were too woke. Eric Adams, another Democrat, is over here cracking down on Palestinian protests, criminalizing union workers and free speech, criminalizing kufia and watermelons, stealing tax dollars from American citizens that could help us with food, clothing, shelter, and sending them overseas to strip those same rights from children, from innocent men and women. I'm not mad that Donald Trump is president because without him in office, a lot of people would be unwilling to address or even acknowledge the forms and systems of oppression that are present in America.
Khalil posted a video where he stated that he's not mad that Donald Trump is in office because maybe finally folks in the United States will get some sort of comprehension of just how terrible and disgusting and harmful these systems of oppression in our country are. And I think that the people who are going to get that revelation finally are the people whose ancestors are likely related to Donald Trump, not people who look like you, Khalil, and not people who look like me. I'm going to say this, and I've been sitting with this for a minute. I would like us to sit in the idea that not everyone has the capacity to have a global praxis when it comes to dismantling and addressing issues. I want to offer that there is a level of privilege to be able to have the capacity in your hands, in your hearts, in your mind, in your life, to be able to hold issues at such a large level. I think the same thing applies to not everyone can be an activist for the block. Not a motherfucker can be the activist for the city, for the state. Some people, all I got is my house. And I don't feel as though that negates their impact to shifting the issues. And what I struggle with in activist spaces is how people are dismissed and maligned because they aren't thinking that way. So how I think in my mind is, if I'm sitting here and I haven't eaten for 2 weeks and I'm starving, and the person next door is starving as well, it doesn't mean that I want them to starve or I don't care about them starving at all. It means that I don't know if I have the mindset or the ability to think about their starvation when my starvation is happening. I say that to say, my deeper concern with this idea of Trump igniting a deeper understanding with our communities and our society in the face of things that were already fires, because I looked through the comments, things were already bad. Yes, the fuck they were. But as someone who's formerly incarcerated, as someone who's Black and trans, as someone who lives in the South, all these things, what I can tell you is that there's hot and there's hell hot. And I understand folks are saying, well, it's the eighth level of hell hot over there. So we don't give a fuck about, get out of your own way, like you're so fucking selfish. I'm hearing what y'all are saying. And for the average person who is existing in identities that these new measures in the last 100 days, if you're living with HIV and you're in Atlanta and you're now homeless, for the trans person who now is afraid to think about going to work in Kansas, in the state of Kansas, because now you can be fired. Like, yes, we knew people were firing people because they were trans before, but now there's no fucking recourse. For my nephews who are on IEPs, who are being put in restraints, and we don't know who to call at the Department of Education to support them in these Black communities. These are issues that are being exacerbated under Donald Trump, and that I truly believe would not be as scary under Kamala Harris. Not they would not be issues. I struggle with the absolutes that I'm seeing people speak from as abolitionists, as people who want to dismantle these systems. How do we speak in such absolutes? How do we focus on throwing people away over acknowledging how these systems impact the way people have to navigate the world? Therefore, pulling them in and holding them is the true answer for us to create a society where we don't have to choose whether this person makes it over this person when we are thinking about how humanity is respected. I can't get it. And maybe my praxis is not at the level of yours. Maybe my understanding of this work and my experience in this work does not compare. I don't think that's the case, but I'm going to leave some room for that. And it is offensive at this point to see people talk about just stick it out, essentially like, yeah, it's all going to be terrible, but it's going to be better on the other side. For who? And who's going to be there to see it? Who's going to be there to see it? I also think it's a disrespect to the folks who have, from 2020 to 2025, the Black, queer, and trans people who have sacrificed everything they've had to work, to move mutual aid, to build housing programs. The number of trans women who are calling me because their housing programs are going to close because all of these fucking executive orders have stopped the funding immediately. Immediately. Those are things that do deserve to be discussed. And I find it frustrating that people are not creating space to have a full conversation, to say, I would be open to leaning into your conversation if it was, this is fucked up. And I don't even think there's been an acknowledgement. I think there's, as I look through the comments, but it's been terrible for la la la. There are levels of terrible. Can we name there are levels of this is fucked up? Can we name there are levels of, yo, what the fuck is happening? There are levels, and this devil is bringing a new level. And this isn't Democrats, Republicans. This is the current person who has the power and the way to move these things. And I also don't 100% know that after this 4 years that we're going to have this scorching of earth that has us be able to rebuild something. I'm also scared of what it's going to look like to go through that. And then what, in the midst of it, everyone's supposed to have the spirit and the capacity for mutual aid to hold each other, when the donors that we spent the last fucking 5 years to train and educate, to find a issue that they could invest in perpetuity so we could shift that issue, now they're scrambling. They don't even know what to focus on, because all these fires that were there, again, the fires that were there are now infernos. They don't know if they need to address the mass incarceration. They don't know if they need to address Alcatraz being proposed to be open. They don't know if they need to address people being snatched off the streets and put in facilities, and then making TikToks about putting people on planes and snatching kids out of colleges because young people are protesting. They don't know what to move it for. And so then we have to that much more position ourselves to say, yo, remember our issue, because we don't want you to put that money there. That's what's really fucked up. And at the same time, as a Black trans woman, I am sick to my stomach to know that in 100 days, he undid half a decade of life work for so many people, including myself. And so I get, and I'm trying to understand how activism works on this platform. And I don't feel comfortable with my safety and the safety of my people being tossed in as a casualty to a vision that you can't even verbalize how we get there. Is there some strategy through this presidency that folks are implementing that I don't know about? I would like to know. And you don't have to tell me where I can go to learn about it. Are you and your comrades, is there a plan that is okay, Trump is here to destroy everything so things can be brand new? Is there something that I can read up on that can help me see how we do that and how we can participate, outside of you're a dummy bitch because you don't understand how Trump is, the same as Kamala Harris? I hunger for that, because people are asking me questions. I'm like, yo, I'm struggling. And it sounds like a lot of folks over here have the answers. It sounds like you are very clear on the answer. But I would love to know more. But I'm afraid of what this looks like. I am deeply afraid. And I think the people in Palestine need to be protected, and children should never be harmed, and everyone deserves to be safe. And I sit with a level of privilege to where more days than not, I have the capacity to think about people's safety outside of myself. And I'm not gonna look at a Black trans girl who's walking down the street having to suck a dick so she can stay safe and say, well, you ain't thinking about Palestine, so girl, fuck you, because it's just what you gotta go through. That's how the fuck you sound.
A lot of internet leftists are clearly children that have never been told I love you by their parents, but let me just tell you how unfucking serious they are. These people won't even leave the comfort of a blue state. They live in blue states, surrounded by predominantly white leftists that theorize about things that they've never experienced before, and they never will. But they're going to be comfortable with anarchy and the revolution when they're not even comfortable living outside of the neighborhoods that they live in, where they are surrounded by other entitled white leftists. They don't even live in red states, where a lot of marginalized people are experiencing the direct fallout of this Trump presidency, because they have pro-Trump governors and state houses. That's why when I said a couple of days back that these white leftists can't tell me a fucking thing about Western imperialism and how it dehumanizes Black and brown people, because as a Black person that's descended from Africans that were brought to the Americas, I already know that shit. I am the human embodiment of that. But yeah, just understand, when they have Marxist, communist, socialists, or you go to their videos and they have a Marxist, socialist, or communist flag in their bio or in their background, they're cosplaying. It's their new skin. Because I can promise you that they live in an upscale community surrounded by nothing but privileged other white leftists. But they're gonna start the revolution. They're gonna be leading us into revolution, guys. Sure.
This is all I got from this video. And one thing I know for sure is that you see all these leftists, they are never interested in catching bullets for anyone or protecting people, from fascism, despite the constant dragging of Kamala Harris all over. They will never come out and say, I am protecting this person. The white one will also say, they will never come out to say, I am standing in for people. But you will see the keypad warriors or the camera warriors all over looking for a way to drag Kamala Harris, and they're making it look like how do you want to compare two persons, right? But then let's do it this way. Okay, I don't even understand why they are still dragging her into this, because so far she is not even the president. And why she said the government, she was not even the president also. She was also the vice president. So what is all this pro-Palestinian or lefties coming online to look for a way to put black people? Yes, black people say that they will not come out to save anybody, and that is what they say. It's not like you will make them come out. Nothing will ever make them come out, no matter how you try to say, no matter how you try to twist it. Nobody will come out. And you all have already been very busy criticizing everybody except for yourselves. I haven't even seen you people come out, right, to protest or to speak up of what is going on, especially this present administration that is literally plucking everybody's eyes off. But it's okay, because Kamala Harris, in their words, not my word, Kamala Harris already did that, or Gaza has already been leveled. You all be moving crazy, sincerely speaking. I don't know how he thought it was okay for him to come out and say this, but then what do you expect from low-life people that do not even know politics? I don't know how old he is, but however he is, I think he is old enough to know what is true and what is bad. He is old enough to read and write. He is old enough to know that sometimes you pick up a book. That is one of the problems these people are having. They will never, ever pick up a book, at least read, so that your brain will correspond with whatever that comes out from your mouth. Fine man, ugly brain. So how is that even? And somebody will carry this one and say, this is my boyfriend or this is my husband. Crazy mentality and poor thinking, critical thinking, 0. Fine boy, 10 over 10. But what is, when you see, sincerely speaking, I think you give out what you have. People like this will also attract people that are dumb, like mentally not smart like them, because it is rare to see someone that knows some certain things that want to marry someone that do not even know at all. You are taking yourself so backward. So it starts with solidarity. If you guys really want to, they are going to continue to point fingers, accusing fingers on people that look like me and Kamala Harris, when the rest of the fingers are pointing at them. They are not even doing what they are supposed to do. I really feel so bad for these people, but then it is what it is. And it's very hard to fight for global issues when you are worried and you don't even know where to start, or when you are mentally not able to even, that even makes it even worse. He got no point, and that it's some period. I said what I said, and I will draw my curtain here. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.